Yeah. She couldn't get pine nuts anywhere. They're actually really expensive.
Well, that's the national tree of Lebanon, isn't it? The cypress.
Oh, that's a tree.
Somebody wanted white.
Yeah.
Oh, Cliona's getting the white.
Yeah, I think Berto and...
Well, some people put it red, are they?
Cliona, are you getting the white wine? And
you were the one like, huh? What?
Who's pink?
Who's pink? Pink's the big one. It's under the king. Are you colourblind, Martin?
are you doing turquoise?
Are you asking because I
Dark red. Can you see dark red, pink, dark red?
Mick,
Yeah, I can. I do. Yeah.
Norberto yellow, Martin dark red, Dom is turquoise
You need
blue.
more wine.
Who's
Yeah,
I've always been
green.
Yeah. And who's
I'm
dark
green.
blue?
I'm green.
She's green.
okay? Well then dark blue. Is that okay, Deirdre?
Dark blue.
Oh, sorry, I didn't. I
Oh, no,
thought
perfect. I don't care. Yeah, dark.
And then we need a grey.
Well, I did grey the last time, so I can do grey if you want.
Okay, all right. And I think we're done then. Okay.
Especially at serving carving meat.
Okay, here's the Mlouklieh.
I don't know how to make it. That's why I don't eat it that often.
Is this one made out of fresh or dry leaf?
Dry leaves, of course, since it is not the Mlouklieh season, Lara. Could you pass me your plate?
By the way, why don't we grow Mlouklieh in our garden?
Why? Why? How do you grow Mlouklieh?
It needs a hot climate. That's why it grows in Jericho and Gaza.
We grow in greenhouses. Maxine, could you pass me the lemon?
I was surprised the other day as to how expensive Mlouklieh is.
Really?
Yeah, it's unreal.
Now
it's turn on the colourblind people.
Yes, it's unreal. Also, trying to buy Mlouklieh in Ramallah is like trying to buy drugs. All the stores I went to only sold fresh Mlouklieh. They did not understand why I wanted dry Mlouklieh. They thought I needed it because I was travelling abroad and wanted to take it with me.
It's true. A lot of people take it with them when they leave town.
Well, anyway, after a while of searching in vain, I met a guy who said he could hook me up with somebody who knows. We called this guy. It was exactly as if we were trying to score dry Mlouklieh. Indeed. And then I went there and he pulled out some dry Mlouklieh from his pocket. Abu Ahmed sent you, right?
Yeah.
Right.
What was the secret password?
I don't know. Abu Ahmed, maybe?
Mlouklieh.
More.
ML.
I don't know. Dark blue.
I think we have a big problem. Since the tastiest Mlouklieh is from Jericho, it's going to be hard for us to keep getting it once the wall is completed.
Yes, that's right.
It's also going to be hard to get all the fruits and vegetables.
I think we should grow some Mlouklieh next to the wall.
Why?
Well, the wall will turn green. That's illegal.
Really? It's covering the wall then.
Anyway, they will forbid you to start growing stuff next to the wall.
I am against beautifying the wall.
There is no longer a comparative advantage because of this wall. So places that are good at growing certain things like Mlouklieh and Jericho or apricots in Bet Jala, because of this wall, each Palestinian area has to grow all of the produce in one place.
So we lose the comparative advantage.
Exactly.
Yesterday I was in Mazar,
Where is Mazar located?
north of Nablus.
You were there yesterday?
How's that?
We went to visit a woman in her house which is entirely surrounded by the wall. Okay, there in Bethlehem we're completely surrounded by the wall. But this house of this woman and her family is surrounded by their own private wall. They created a closed military zone for them and the Israeli army monitors their house night and day. They're allowed to get out of the gate 2 times a day and nobody is allowed to visit them. We were only allowed to enter because we had a lot of foreigners with us and they're locked in.
They're all by themselves.
Yeah, completely.
How can these people live like that?
Sometimes settlers come and start throwing stones at them.
It's serious.
But do they eat Mlouklieh in Israel? Do they make it?
Have they managed to confiscate the dish from us as well?
I don't think so. When I lived abroad, nobody ever mentioned Israeli Mlouklieh or Jews mallow.
So it's not like hummus then?
But I think it's not a very popular dish. People don't know about it. Mansaf or Mlouklieh, or for example, they're more well known.
Still, it is in our hands. It is our national dish.
No, let me tell you why. Each time I cook it for a non-Arab, they don't like it.
Right, but by the 10th time they love it.
Really?
I think because it's bitter. Oh no. Right from 10 to 15 times.
I think because it was big.
No, it's not.
Life is bitter, is it not?
I think that's getting used to it.
It is gooey. I think a lot of people find it gooey.
Right, Americans especially don't like gooey stuff.
You start telling me about spinach.
Oh my god, how can you compare the two?
Exactly.
The biggest aphrodisiac in the world is Mlouklieh.
Oh, come on, Leila. You're exaggerating.
yeah.
In the 14th century, the Egyptian Sultan forbade it in Egypt because of its effects on society.
I don't believe it.
It's true. It was forbidden throughout his reign.
And its name comes from after the Arabic royalty.
Oh, really?
Before in Bethlehem, for example, not all families could afford Mlouklieh.
What?
Yes, as many bourgeois would,
Why?
because it was very expensive to obtain.
I'm going to Egypt at the end of the month, by way of Jordan, of course.
But why do you have to do that? Do you not have an American passport?
Yeah, but my passport is not recognized by the State of Israel. And they stamp my Palestinian ID number on it.
Me too.
How did that happen to you?
Anna was detained for 16 hours, right?
As I understood, they discovered she has a Palestinian ID on the computer.
Did they also ask you if you had another passport?
Yeah, another passport. They always ask me on the bridge. Lately I just scream another passport. They sit behind this glass thing and I can see them. When they start, Nadira, blah blah blah, I wave my other passport.
They ask me if I have another one each time, and each time I say no.
And what, does it work? I'm always on my nerves like mad, especially when the passport is in my pocket. I think if they find out, they'll start beating me.
But it's easier if you say you don't have another passport than deny you have a Palestinian, because Palestinian passports are listed on their computer.
Well, you know how
I denied I had a Palestinian
But you know how they
passport.
found out about my passport?
Wasn't it in your bag?
Well, yes, I told them I don't have anything but my British passport. They searched all my bags and found my Palestinian passport. They go, so, you have a Palestinian passport? I say, yes, but I like using my British. So why do you keep using your British? You're visiting your own country.
Yeah, right. My country.
I said, yes, because it's easier for me to use a foreign passport in my country.
Not that we want it, but we are easy to occupy. Yes, we are occupiable, and occupiable people will be occupied.
Yeah, pre-packed, occupiable.
And we are occupied in so many different ways. For example, we're so busy here, we're constantly occupied with things. Once a guy says to us, I'm so occupied these days. Somebody else says, aren't we all?
Yeah, everybody please take your plates with you.